nice and comfortable, laying all the way back. Start to let your breath flow. Deep inhales. Wonderful, relaxed, just release exhales. Starting to let the fullness of the lungs lead us from one moment to the next. And starting to add counts to the breath. Just notice what your natural inhale rate is right now compared to exhale. This is completely personal, so somebody might count at a nice, slow, steady rate. Others might count faster to see how many numbers you can fit in. So whatever your natural inclination is, take those counts to just measure our inhale versus our exhale. Now, take a moment to allow inhales and exhales to be the same length, absolute balance. So say you're using a count of 4, your inhale would be 4 counts and your exhale 4 counts. Try to keep the breath slow and steady, equal from inhale to exhale. And this breath leads us in toward our intention today. This week we had our fall equinox, one of the few times of the year when sunlight is equal to darkness during the day. And so that leads us toward this idea of balance, making sure that we have balance between the light and the darkness within us, balance with the inhale and the exhale, balance in our body, making sure the left and the right sides are getting closer and closer toward equal. That's the idea that will lead us toward our class today, that idea of balance. If we're stretching the shoulders out, we make sure to take the hips also, so the whole spine is balanced, up and down. So that's the idea that will lead us toward our class today. So with that idea to get us started, let's begin with our knees gently coming in toward the chest. As we're here, allow the low back to have a few little circles, a chance for us to check in with how that feels. And also notice the arms, that strength of the arms helping the circles happen. Notice how that keeps us in balance so we don't just tilt over to one side unless we want to. Good. So from here, our first thing today is a nice twist. We'll open out the arms to left and right, and knees will fall to left. And as we gradually release into this twist, the idea is for us to really deeply be present with the body, checking in so that we're aware of how this right half of our body is doing. Then when we head to the left side, we can notice if our body is in balance or if there's significant differences. It is very natural for our body to have these differences, especially in people that are extremely dominant with one hand or the other. But that being said, yoga can help us eventually come toward greater and greater balance with our whole body if we have this conscious awareness of what is going on. Continuously scanning through what is going on, what is deeply impacted by this stretch, what is tight. Let's take 3 more breaths just to find this presence. As your third breath gently releases, bring the hips back to the ground. And take your time gradually releasing the second side. Already finding our presence in this half of the body. What's going on? What are we aware of? What can we bring attention to? What's different on this side than on the first side? What I love about having an intention like that, having these ideas to focus on through the poses, is that I keep my mind in this body, in this present moment, instead of letting myself start to think about all the things that I still have to do in the next few days. Presence with our body. Presence with this moment. Because ultimately this moment is all that we'll ever get. Right here, right now, each and every moment. How is the body opening and releasing to this side compared to the first? Three more breaths, find this full presence with this side. Only when your third one completes, hips return back to the ground. We reach up to our right foot for a half happy baby. Right hand goes to the outside edge of the foot. And we're going to be playful with this happy baby, wiggling into any spots that are tight for us. The big thing that I want us to play with is the contrast between arm strength, trying to pull the knee closer and closer to the ground, versus extending the leg up and feeling the shoulder stretch because we're pushing the foot into the hand so far. So go very slow, your own pace, going back and forth between the arm strength and the arm stretch based on the release and then the activation of the strength of the leg. Feel how those two parts of us are connected. Start to listen for what tends to be the tightest for you on this right side. Is it the hip or is it the hamstring? So based on what's tightest for you out of those two areas, you'll choose a place of stillness. So if it's your hip that's tightest, stay in the half happy baby, just nice and relaxed, letting it open. Or if it's the hamstring, let the leg extend up, maybe even readjusting the grip to have you have a grip that'll help your hamstring stretch. So choose your placement based on your body's ability to become closer to balance through this next few couple of breaths together. Another deep inhale. And exhale, let this right foot release, planting it down. Second side, coming with a half happy baby. Again, take the motions gently at your own pace. When we're pulling actively down, the knee is opening and the arm strength is going on. When we're pushing the foot into the hands, the shoulder gets pulled forward to allow that a chance to stretch. So gently easing between those 2 points. Arm strength, arm stretch. And from here, optimally choose the same thing you did on the other side, so left and right calves are in balance. But we're heading in toward the placement that will help us to allow ourselves to work on the tight areas. Be that staying in the half happy baby or working toward the hamstring stretch. Two more deep, full breath cycles. And releasing that foot to the ground. Slide the legs long, reach the arms up overhead. We're taking the shape of a banana. So first and foremost, grab onto the left wrist and put the shoulders off the right back top edge of the mat. Left ankle over right, legs scoot off the right edge of the mat. Scan your body all the way up and down that left half of us. What is the hip experiencing here? What about the IT band? What about the waist and the ribs? Shoulder, the arm. Based on how you're doing, you choose the level of activity here. Anywhere ranging from completely passive, you're practically like jello here, to completely active, pushing against the two connection points. So find what variation and what amount of effort would help this left side in its tightness. More huge breath, filling up the lungs as much as possible. And exhale to return onto the mat. Feel this release right in the center, almost like a shavasana. Use this release to reconnect us to the breath of equal inhale to exhale. One more cycle of equality like this. And the arms will start to stretch up overhead, this time holding onto right wrist. Shoulders scoot off that left top edge. Cross the right ankle over, legs go past that left edge. Start to scan through this right half of the body. Does it feel the same as the left did? Where do you feel it the most? Clear down into the leg, to the middle body, the shoulder and arm. What amount of effort or release is the perfect amount for this half of our body? Present here for 2 more deep, full breath cycles. And with our release, returning back up onto the mat, evenly with the body. A few rounds of breath once again to connect with that even, equal inhale and exhale. One more cycle, equal inhale, equal exhale. And then with as much ease as possible, let's work our way up toward a seated place. When we get up, have the feet planted, knees bent. We're going to use the effort of the arms to help us get into a nice release through the legs and the low back. So we're setting up a nice tight hug. Try to get your chest to touch all the way to the thighs if possible. Head is trying to release down. Maybe it touches the knees, maybe not. But what we start to do from here is find if the body wants us to walk the feet forward, and we walk each foot until they're equal again. And we ask the body again, is this where you want me to be? If it wants more, we inch feet forward until they're equal again, just a little bit further forward. The goal is not to release the hug. So we're finding that balance between the strength of the arms keeping us in contact here, but also easing our way toward the best leg and low back stretch that our body would like to head into right here. Notice perhaps how the inhale doesn't have as much space to fill your body, but see if you can still find the equal inhale to exhale so far as it counts. Notice how the more you relax into that breath, the easier the breath does flow. It's less panicked because of space. It just knows where to go. One more huge breath in. Nice, relaxed exhale. And then find your hands resting at each side of your body. And as you continue to be more or less in this shape, see what the body wants to do. Do the legs want to work their way straighter all of a sudden? Does the back like this shape that it's in, or does it want to readjust? Just notice how the release of the strength aspect of it perhaps changes the pose entirely for your body. So we'll be here just a few more breaths, releasing into this space. Another good inhale. With the exhale, we start to walk the hands in closer to the hips. And then find the pressing of the hand into the ground, helping our spine gently rise up. Good. When we get there, pick up the back sides of the knees. Choose your version of cobbler today. This could be feet really close. It could be feet a lot further together. Either way, the knees are opening. We start to feel our spine relax up and know that there's lots of places to play with. You can keep the hands on the feet. You could bring the forearms to the ground in front of you perhaps. You could even tuck the forearms back so that the shoulders get to round forward, finding greater release through the weight of the spine traveling forward. So play with it. Find a good spot that you like, a spot that you can rest at. A little bit longer. Enjoy 3 more breaths, equal inhale to exhale. After the third complete, sooner or later, use the placement of their hands on the ground or on the feet in front of you to help support your spine as it rises up. And then from here, grip your shins or your ankles to help support your spine, making it easeful to be tall. The shoulders are dropping away from the ears, trying to be further and further downward. And from this placement, right ear starts to sink closer to right shoulder. Maybe stillness is best, or maybe you're rocking into it, slightly forward of shoulder, slightly backward of shoulder. You're choosing the quality that feels best on that left side. The right ear is down. next exhale happens, gently let the head float back up, like we're using one muscle fiber at a time, and then gradually release to the second direction. Get stillness or movement, whatever helps this side out. And starts to float back up. Once we're up, we've done several poses leaning forward. Let's walk our hands behind us and walk them as far back as the shoulders are happy with. Try to keep the spine straight, but feel this release to the space backwards. Sometimes the head can be comfortable resting on the pillow that the shoulders make, but sometimes it's more comfortable just to keep it up. So whatever feels best in the head is fine. We won't be here quite as long, just a couple of beautiful bonus breaths. When we start to walk the hands back in, allow the legs to open up. Does not have to be ridiculously wide, but choose a nice easeful place for toes to stay pointing up to the sky. And then from here, we're going to take a lateral lean. So place the right hand in front of the right leg. Some people just automatically can go down to elbow. So if that's easeful, that's fine. Keep the left shoulder peeled back, nice and stacked. And then lock this left arm straight as it starts to reach up and over. So the straight arrangement helps us get just a little bit deeper into the muscles of the arm and the shoulder. Feel that pull all the way down the side of the ribs. And stay with the arm over as long as it's still easeful. The moment it starts to feel intense, what you'll do is take that left hand to your low back and just rest, leaning sideways. If your elbow does touch the ground, you can support the head with that hand. Otherwise, just let it dangle to that side. Gentle release to rise up. Support your spine as needed. Then eventually left hand or left elbow is resting by the left leg. Peel the right shoulder back to step. Walk the right arm straight as it starts to tilt over. Feel all those muscles getting pulled long. And stay here as long as there's still ease. The moment you'd like to bend the elbow, sending the hands to flow back, that's beautiful. We're good. Inhale. Equal exhale. And support your way all the way back up. Beautiful. Once we're up, let's bend our knees. We're going to take a moment with Sphinx pose, filling the space behind us, arching the spine to that direction. This is as easeful as our shoulders and our spine would like to be. So sometimes just kind of collapsing into the skeletal system is the most easeful place. Sometimes the spine wants more. We take more of a seal pose, hands going wide. If they're further away, it doesn't look quite as much. If we walk in, it's a deeper kind of seal. So choose the type of back bend that feels best for the body. How much does the spine want to open that backward space? Are we just as comfortable going backwards as we are going forwards? Just notice the difference in the body. And that equal breath again if you lost it at all. Let's slide our way back into child pose. I like the knees being a little bit wider when I'm in restorative class, but it's your preference. However wide feels really helpful for your body. You feel the contrast between upper body and lower body. Perhaps it's helpful to walk the arms forward just a little bit so the shoulders kind of get pulled forward into a stretch. Let's begin to walk the hands off the mat to the right side. Try to still find a place where the head can rest either on the ground, or if you're kind of setting your torso on your thigh, your head is able to easily dangle. So find a nice, easeful place. Sink into the stretch on the left ribs. And notice if you can find a new depth here that wasn't available previously, either in the banana pose or in that wide leg stretch we just did. If there's new places that would like to release. Finding the breath, try to make it equal. Gradually take your time walking over to the second side. How does this side compare to the first side? Is our breath still equal, or did we lose track of that? Another good inhale. Exhale. Return to the center for a few bonus breaths. Start to rise up. The next pose can either be done with a toe stretch, tucking the toes and sitting back while we take each side of the eagle's arms, or if that's going to be too much for the toes, you know it already, you can just come to a comfortable seated position. So tucking the toes, when we start to sit back onto our ankles, take the right elbow under the left in eagle's arms. We'll be here on this side for a few breaths. The idea is to move around with the shoulders to find places that need to be eased up into. So finding the tight areas. So this could be rotate left and right. It could be tilt the elbows up or down. Just continue to play around with it for just a few more breaths for this right arm. Sometimes it's even the head that really does the movement that helps you out. So be with this area, opening up the tight spots. One more good inhale. Then exhale. If you have the toe stretch, come forward for a moment, releasing out of it, maybe plant on the feet. Giving it a little break, but for the second side. Okay, if the toes are still good, we'll go back into the toe stretch. If you need to just sit back on the untucked feet or go to cross leg, that's okay also. Nothing wrong with that. Let's start to head back into it, this time left elbow under. And then ease into any of those directions. It'll stretch it out. Left, right, up, down, circles, neck, whatever we need to loosen up tight areas here. More good breaths, whatever easeful spots we have, exploring into them. After that third breath, toes get a release, maybe rolling, pounding, shaking. That feels okay with the feet. We come to sit. Our left foot will stay down. Our right ankle will come up onto that left thigh. And the idea here is that this is kind of a balance pose in and of itself. So I want you to do whatever it takes to help the right hip open and also just notice the balance that's going on in the body. So perhaps you're simply pushing the right hand into that knee. Perhaps you're sliding the left foot in, making the angle steeper for the hip. The hardest point, not everybody can make this balance, but for me, if I were to try to hug around this entire unit, I find my body in this little precarious balance. It's like I have to stay just right. So whatever helps to balance your body here, whether that means coming to this balance, or maybe that means just balancing out your body by focusing on the hip now, that's the place where you'll find breathe into. Another good inhale. And with our exhale, the bottom foot is going to try to slide over to the right. We're going to see if we can end up with our shins stacking. That might not happen, so if you need to drop the right leg down into cross leg, that's okay. It's okay if it floats a little bit. We just want both sitting bones to be on the ground. So from here, we're going to take the right hand up toward the base of the neck. The left hand grabs that elbow and pulls it midline, and then the head pushes back so that we're sitting nice and tall. Good, that's the first half. So release the right arm. The left arm now swings to the low back, or maybe a little bit higher, maybe in between shoulder blades. However high that left hand can get, then the right hand just helps. So maybe it can grab onto elbow, forearm, wrist. We're sitting up tall as we get into that spot, and enjoying that left deltoid stretch of the shoulder muscle. Now leave this left arm, circle the right arm all the way through the side and up. See if you can automatically connect the fingers. If so, great. If not, grab onto your shirt and keep the right elbow pointing up and the left elbow pointing down. The top arm, we get the tricep, and the bottom arm, we get the deltoid stretch. Again, try to keep head tall, posture stacked. Got a few more breaths in this opening the shoulders. More beautiful inhale. And with our exhale, we'll release. Gradually find the ground in front of you and ease your way toward a nice glute stretch. All the way forward. Balancing off the upper body stretches we just got, with now the lower body, the hips stretching out. Finding the equal breath, equal counts, inhale and exhale, take 3 more cycles of breath. When you finish all 3, ease your way back up. When we're there, let both feet plant about as wide as the mat and take a couple of windshield wipers left and right. Good. From here, right foot stays planted, left ankle comes up. We work with the balance pose, so maybe we're pushing the knee open. Maybe the bottom foot slides in. Maybe trying for the balance hug. See if it works on this side. How is the breath moving? More good inhale. And with the exhale, start to slide the right foot to the left. The shins end up stacking or dropping down the cross leg. And then from here, tall spine, left hand comes to base of neck. Right hand grabs the elbow, pulls in midline to get the tricep open. One more breath here. Then right hand takes its turn trying it out. Right hand goes to the low back, or maybe a little bit higher. Left hand helps by grabbing wrist, forearm, maybe elbow. So for me, being right arm dominant, I automatically feel this is my tighter shoulder. Try to breathe into it, giving it permission to balance. At least a little bit closer toward balance today. When you're ready to try, maybe the fingers can connect, left hand coming up. If you're nowhere near it on this side, just grab the shirt, try to keep the top elbow pointing up, the bottom elbow pointing down. Got a few more breaths, find that equal balance with the breath. One more inhale. Equal exhale. Then gradually release, finding hands in front of us. And we travel forward. Let that rush of blood into the arms, helping our muscles to balance and recover from that deep stretch that it just found itself in. Three more breaths of equality. Eventually, after that third cycle, we make our way up. The feet separate to do a few of the windshield wipers. And scanning through our body, we ask our body, is there any last poses that I can give to you as a little gift? If there's any last things seated or any last things laying down, take a moment to do any of those last things until your body says, yes, now I'm ready for Shavasana. No rush to get there. Take all the time you need. And check in with you, Kimberly. How's the temperature for Shavasana? Do you want it off or are you good? Oh, you got it. I'm a little cold too. Sooner or later, when you're in your Shavasana, be with the breath. Let the breath rock you like a little baby's cradle. Not rocking too much to one side or to the other side. Perfect balance. Easing you into this beautiful moment of meditation. Beginning to deepen inhales and exhales. Introduce little movements back to the fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually rolling over to a nice fetal position on one side. Enjoying a few bonus breaths here as we continue to come into our body. Maybe 3 or 4 breaths from now, we'll be ready to rise up to a comfortable seated place. No rush, just rising when you feel fully present. As we join our hands together in front of the heart, feel that union of the left and the right, that perfect balance. Sense the union, the balance of sun to darkness and moon. If the sun tried to do more than its fair share, the earth would be too hot. If darkness tried to do more than its fair share, we couldn't have life. Either way, having this perfect balance that we have, and these rotations around the earth, around the sun, leads us to a place of balance. Also realize balance comes within us. As we work on balancing all parts of who we are, then we can maintain this equilibrium state regardless of what's going on outside of us, regardless of how cold the days become and how dark the nights are. So with balance to lead us on, let's wrap up this wonderful time we got to share together today with a sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.